Good morning. It is Friday. My name is Robin Whitworth, and I am super excited to be here to teach you today. And you guys know the drill. If you're here, please say hello. If you are watching live, please say, hey, I'm here. And I love to know even like where you're from, where you're tuning in from. I'm in Idaho, West United States. Trying to manipulate my screens here. Okay. That's what I get for not having plugged in my other screen yet. I have this one screen that I'm trying to fit my notes and the video. Hey, Cherie. Hey, Kim. So good to see you guys. All right. I just want to share with all of you, clearly a yawn. Oh, you know what? I got to get on my, gotta take care of my eyeballs. I have eyeball issues. I have some eyeball health issues. And so these are my blue blockers. They create a little more glare, but they don't allow this light to make my eyeballs turn into raisins. Hey, Christy. So good to have you here, guys. So I posted this week several things about money, and I also did a couple stories. If you guys don't follow my stories or follow my page, my profile, please do. Latia's here too. You guys are awesome. Love having all you guys here. And I posted about money set points. And I posted about, this has been such an interesting journey to me. And I want to share with you that the reason I find it so curious is because it was completely out of my knowing. Like when I set out a goal to grow a business, hey, Lake Kayla, I didn't think, I had no awareness that so much of what I would get to work through would be money story and set points and money energy. Like I really had the belief as a child even. I actually have this memory coming to me right now. This is going to age myself. But when I was in 6th grade was when we very first experienced the World Wide Web. And we learned about what a URL bar was. And I remember we got on this website and we explored different careers. And you would pick, what are some of my talents and how much money do I want to make a year? And you would see if your ideas would match up. It was this whole thing. It was this, anyway. I remember being enthralled that I was on a computer and I had this mouse and I would click something and it would open something. This is the magic of the internet for those of us that are born in the 80s. And I just was like, oh, you have to go to school and learn things, and then people will pay you for your expertise. This was the very beginning of me understanding money flow for people. So it like finally clicked in my mind at that age. Oh, that's what my dad is doing at work. He's doing something specific. People pay him for that. Oh, like I was always entrepreneurial as a young child. I would sell things and trade things at a young age. And when I experienced the World Wide Web for the first time, I started making that connection that it was like, oh, I provide a service. I provide value. People pay me because they don't want to do that. That's how I understood it. Anybody else? Anyone else feeling me here? Does anyone else like, maybe you don't analyze your childhood thoughts and think about the first time you put together money flow. So, but this is where the stumbling block, that's biblical language. That's where the stumbling block began for me though, was so then I was like, oh, if I would like more money in my life, I grew up at a certain poverty level that meant I was told many, many times throughout my childhood, we can't afford that, we can't afford that, we can't afford that, we can't afford that, we can't afford that. Like, this is lame. I want a life where I can afford all the things I would love to experience. Anyone else? And I know I'm an American, like that's capitalism. Like I was blessed. I believe it's a blessing to grow into a place where I believed I could have everything I ever wanted. Okay. I recognize in other countries and cultures, they don't think that way. I did. I would love to know if I'm not the only one. Is anything I'm saying, like, has it been true for anyone else that you grew up with this idea that you could change things, or that money was something you could, if you had enough education or experience or whatever, that you could get money? Yes? This is really important to understand. I need to know where your belief systems are at on where you believe money like comes from. For me, that was my childhood. It started there. Latia says, yes, thank you so much for replying. Like, somebody on this call is on my wavelength. It's going to serve you. Anybody else? Anybody else? And this is where it began. Because as I posted the other day, when I first made $5,000 a month, that was like, wow. Because back in 6th grade, I'd said maybe I wanted to make, $50,000 a year. So being able to make $5,000 a month took me to 60, right? It's like, I've made it. I have made it if I can do $5,000 a month. Like, and so I worked to this level. Like, there's something I can do to earn $5,000 a month. And I had this very linear view about it too. It was like, here's the end goal. I will develop the skills and knowledge to just get there, like this. Like it'll just be there. Like that is something I can see and attain. Very linear. Thank you for commenting, Latia. Yes. To this day, my set point's 20,000. Okay. It's interesting, right? So I had set myself at a set point of 5,000 a month flow is what that is. When you think of a yearly annual income that you want, you divide it by 12 and you think, okay, on a monthly basis, this is how the United States works. We bill monthly, we do our taxes based on monthlies, we change our income rates with with certain benefits on a monthly basis. Like, this is the culture that we're in if you're in the United States. Jean says, yes to Heather, who says, I watched my dad run a business and fail. I think I'm attached to that somehow. Oh, interesting. Oh, not $20,000, $20. $20. That is so interesting, Latia. Okay, this is good stuff, guys. Digging into where your money beliefs come from is worthwhile work. It's work. If you've got a journal page out right now, write these questions down. When did I first think about money? What do I think about money? Where do I think money comes from? How does money come to me? When did I first develop this idea? Am I wounded by watching my dad get super mad about something? Okay, these are things I've worked with. I get it. So I thought I would have this linear experience of like getting to $5,000. And when I actually started making $5,000 a month, it was not linear. It was late nights and early mornings, and it was this product and this product. And I had to step into leadership and telling other people how to sell this thing. The current model I was working from was a multi-level marketing company, a direct sales company, where then you had these different avenues of income based on if you could grow a team and become a leader, right? And then I also had my home business. I taught piano lessons for a long time, private lessons, group lessons, and I actually was a faculty at a university doing foods and business. There's like all these things to make this. And I thought, this is so interesting. This is so hard. I was like, I never thought it would be so hard. You had to like get your degree and you had to like prove your worth to people. You had to like convince people that you could really do this thing. And it was so interesting to me how with piano lessons, it was really easy to get clients, like super easy. People were like bringing their kid to me and they wouldn't even practice. Yet they would still pay me for this private lesson. And me and the kid would just sit there going back over what we did last week. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to be a glorified daycare provider for some parents. There was definitely students that were taking it in and succeeding and just, it was a joy. But that's when I started putting it together. I'm like, okay, I think I need to do my own, like, I want to work with who I want to work with, the people that want to work. I don't want to work with these students that don't have the support at home. Like, it was great and I had compassion for them and we would work with them, but like, I could see their parents did not care. They would pay me these fees and like, so I really learned, I'm like, I'm going to work for myself and I'm going to build my own product. Because even with this multi-level marketing company, I could see what they were doing. I had a personal testimony of their product. So I was very successful. I built a 6-figure business doing it, but it was the same. It was like all of these levels of, it was just a lot. And I was like, I don't want to live my whole life feeling like I have to do a lot. And furthermore, working with maybe people that don't want to work. How do I exchange enough with people that they want to exchange back to me a different amount? I was very confused about this. How does this work? And then I got into coaching because I saw an ad on Instagram that said something like that. It was like, do you have a dream? Do you have a goal? Do you have a passion, but you're sick of doing da 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 da? I can teach you how to build a business where you will feel da 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 da. And I was like, what? And I jumped into her program and it changed my life. Changed my life. But I will tell you that there were many tearful sessions. There were many moments where I got to be face to face with myself on going, what do I even believe about money? What pain points and wounds do I have about money? I learned that I thought money was hard. I learned that I thought money could be scary. I learned that I thought, oh, look, we get balloons because I did this. I learned that I had a lot of belief systems passed down to me from generations of money, work ethic, personal value, laziness. And I was like, wow, I learned so much about how I personally operated was affecting if money was easy or hard for me. And not only that was that when I made, I used to be a complete rule follower. It was like, give me the checkbox and I will do it. So this coach had this beautiful website with all these things. She's like, if you do this, you will build a business that can thrive. Now, whether or not it does thrive is actually up to your spirituality. And I was like, what? So she had a spiritual coach on her team that would work with you. And she called her a mindset coach, but I now know the difference between mindset and spirituality. Yes, they have crossover, but they are different. And she said, you can check every box on my strategy list, but until you employ all of the things in the spiritual list, this is just structure. It takes a human person to come in and make a structure successful. And I was like, oh, by the way, we're going to teach about this in the Elevated Mother Business Program. We still have a few spots in the beta. If you are interested in that, put EMB in the chat and we will chat about it. But we are going to connect this for you. We're going to give you the structure and the spiritual, and I'm going to teach about this. Not on this call, but I want you to know the journey, because identifying these things helps the journey here. And I will share 3 specific steps to shift your financial set point this weekend. But I've got to set and help you understand where we were. And I want to know if any of you are relating to any of this. Please post. Yes, I felt that. Like all of these things. Jean, are you asking me? How long ago? A lot of this initial healing has been 2018 was when I really attacked. I focused a whole year. One of my yearly goals was my faith, was understanding my spirituality. 2019 is when I had my first coach, not this one I'm talking about, but the first coach that really like helped me to really see that it was more than just checking the boxes. And then this particular coach where we just went hard on like both was the end of 2020. Yay, thanks, Heather and Christy. So I had done all the things, right? I had worked a job. I always had a job. I liked working. I liked having money. And then I was really entrepreneurial. I had ideas of how to do things. And I had my business degree, entrepreneurship. I went to culinary school, learned how to manage people, restaurants, food. Like there's so much in culinary. It is not just about food, guys. Like you learn about people and their emotional experiences. Like restaurants is a whole rabbit hole on its own to learn about this. But it's all come full circle for me. And I'm learning about structure and spiritual because here's what happened. I built the most beautiful business anybody's ever seen with this lady's structure. I was so confident and I was just like, this is beautiful. And then she says, now you got to sell it. And I was like, okay, teach me how to sell. And she taught me all these things. And so I started booking sales calls. And I would get on with these people and I would follow the thing. And I didn't have anyone buying. I was very frustrated. I was like, these people have all the touch points. So I went to the spiritual coach and I said, what is going on here? And she's like, what do you think's going on here? What's going on in your mind and soul about this? So we had some deep discussions. And she's like, why do you think that? And why do you think this? And it was like, I don't know. And then I actually got vulnerable and I allowed the whole group and my coach to watch my coaching calls. And they would critique. That was a whole that was a whole next level of achievement personally, to allow myself to be on the screen, to be critiqued among people that were doing 30, 40, 50, 80K a month regularly. What is this Robin Whitworth problem? What is she doing? And the coach said, you know what, Robin? You're amazing at these. You're amazing at what you do. I can see why you're a great coach. This is where you get to sit back and allow this, like she started coaching me. And I was like, oh, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful to become so aware that I could become vulnerable. And not only that, but that there were safe spaces out there where people would just really wanted my success. But I had to receive that. I had to believe that these people didn't just want my money for the program, but they actually wanted my success as much as I did. That was big. That was huge. And I'm like, okay, these people want me to succeed. I'm supported. And I was like, oh. So then I made my first $10,000 in a month with their coaching. I shifted everything. I was willing to be coachable and shift what I said, shifted how I felt. I was like, okay. And I had my first energy healing session where I became aware of generational crap that was not mine. Similar to Latia, where I remember my parents lost money on investments and my dad storming out of the room being like, never invest your money. It is risky and people don't care. They just want your money. And I was like, oh. So I became very like, don't give people your money. Don't do investments. That's a bad thing. Money is hard. Money is scary. Like these layers of this, layers upon layers. I learned about my grandparents losing money. I learned about people in my family history being ripped off and thrown out into the cold when they were whatever. I had this whole family history. No wonder I had this weight upon me with sales and money. And it was this whole journey I went through. I'm not saying everybody has to go through this, but I am saying that if money has seemed to elude you, if money seems to be really hard, you have a lot of resistance with it, you have a lot of fear with it, I'm guessing you too have family history that is adding to this. It's not just you. And it may not even actually be you. Your life and where you grew up and the time in which you grew up in, you may be a complete clean slate. And yet their stuff, you can't even see out the window. Like, so it's worth it to do this kind of work if you are resonating with any of this. Yes, Jean, there's so many generational layers. And when we can peel back those and peek out ourselves, we're like, oh, no one's ripped me off. I haven't lost a fortune. I actually believe every possibility is open for me. I actually believe I'm blessed with gifts to be able to have money flow for me. How about we end this generational cycle right now? And I'm seeing it, you guys. I'm seeing it. The work that I have done is shifting my children. They are saying things about money. They believe things about money that I just sit back and I'm like, yes, absolutely, Amy. I'd love to look into generational stuff. Does this happen with our spouses? Uh-huh. Yes. Because you'll have all this possibility and your spouse says, oh, that's too scary. I don't want to do that. I don't want to partake in that idea. I now know my husband has his own money stories and beliefs and actually some trauma around it, to where when I wanted to start a business, he was like, I will not support that. I could have been offended. I could have been like, oh, my husband's not supportive. But I had done enough work to go, oh, that's him. That's him being scared. Interesting. I'll let him stay over there if that's serving him. I chose to do my own thing, support my own business. Like, I can do that. That took work. That took work. But seeing my own children have thousands and thousands of dollars in their bank accounts, my own children being able to just know they can go out and get money, my kids not being afraid to ask about things. And when I say, hey, we actually didn't budget for that. Why don't we set up a paper where you can earn this? Let's do this. Everything's a possibility to them. And it's not about being shut down because I have to provide everything. They now know how resourceful they can be. They know that the ideas of how they're going to change the world are valid and wonderful, and they can go do them. That came from work. That's my language to them, right? Oh, you could totally do that. Let's figure out how. Not, oh yeah, you could do that. I think I could make it work. I think I could pay for that. Nope. I haven't paid one penny to my college students' college experience. Not one penny. Some people judge me for that. Oh, but life is so hard. You should help your kids through college. I heard that a million times. And I'm like, she never asked me. She never asked me for financial help. Ever. I'm allowing her to run her lane. She's never asked me. Like, like these different things. So it's very interesting how I'm raising a different generation for things. And even my other daughter, my 16-year-old, has gone on this all-day choir thing for state choir. She was selected to be this honors group. Anyway, and I asked her last night, I said, "Did you need anything from me? You're gone all day." They said, "You're going to dinners. You have money for that." Like, what? She's like, "Mom, everything's taken care of. Don't worry about it. I just need the ride to the bus to go to the event." And I'm like, I didn't say anything else. I didn't offer, right? Like, I'm letting them run their financial story. Whereas in my experience, it would have been like, well, I don't want you to suffer extra. Let me give you money. That puts an idea in my head that if I had to earn this, that's hard and I'm suffering. See how interesting and how easy it is sometimes to pass these beliefs on that things are hard or that I suffer if I have to do this. Whereas if I just don't say anything and my kid's resourceful, they figure it out. There isn't some suffering money story about this. There's no story with my kids that if I don't buy them a certain number of pants, they have less. It's very interesting. So looking at your history and starting to identify and do the journal work is something you get to do. It's a foundational, fundamental piece of shifting your financial set point. So this brought me to the point of earning my 10K. And what did I do with that 10K? I put some in savings and I put it here and I put it over there and I left $1,500 in my account. I was like, wow, I was able to pay off all these debts and this is so great. And I still felt anxiety about money. Like, I just moved $10,000. Why do I still feel anxiety about money? I have figured it out. I have made it to this level. $10,000 a month is 6 figures of this one income stream, but I still had other income streams. Our monthly together as a couple was in the 6 figures at this time, but I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to do this myself. And I'm like, ah. So the next month, I was very frustrated about this experience and I did 2.2K. And I was like, Coach, I can't even pay my fee to you. Her fee at the time, I had jumped into this bigger coach journey and I was supposed to pay her like $2,000 a month. And I was like, I can barely even pay you, let alone pay my expenses for my business. What am I going to do? It worked out that month, but she's like, Robin, how much did you leave in your account after that 10K? And I was like, $1,500. Interesting. Tell me, Robin, how long have you been giving your family about $1,500? Whether you made $5,000 or not, how much have you been giving? How much have you been letting sit in the account as available? And I'm like, between $900 and $1,500. She goes, okay, so your set point is not $10,000. Your set point is between $900 and $1,500. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, that's where you identify with money. You identify that Robin has about $1,500 in her checking account. You've identified with that on an identity level. And I was like, what? And another coach in the team, it was a mastermind at this point. I had joined this high-level mastermind because I'm like, I'm worthy of this. These people were easily doing over 100K a month. And I'm like, I'm just going to quantum leap. I'm just going to make that choice. And it was beautiful for me to do that. It was wonderful because I got this high level information. I was with these high vibe people that were functioning through 100K months. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I know I can do this. There were some tearful experiences though of like sitting with an energy coach and like sifting through generational stuff and feeling literally my ancestors releasing stuff from me. That was an emotional experience. And then I'd be like, okay, how's it going to go this month? That next month I did $15,000. And my coach said, one of the ladies in the mastermind actually said this to me. She goes, Robin, let it sit there. And I was like, just let it sit there? When I have debts I could pay? She's like, yes. If they can be paid another way, let this money just sit there. And I was like, oh, that felt really scary to me because I did not identify with having that much in my account and just letting it sit there. I realized I had a belief about the responsibility of money. I was like holding this responsibility that I had to do, I should, I have. And I was like, wow. So this is your first tip to shifting your financial set point. We got to it, ladies. If you're taking notes, this is your first experiment you're going to do this weekend, this week, whatever it's going to look like for you, make it happen. Somehow, somewhere, someone, something, you are going to come across some money this weekend. Because everyone does. Whether it's 5 cents from your couch, you're going to clean your couch and find a penny. You're going to go to Costco and find a 25 cents on the sidewalk. Money is going to find its way to you sometime in the next, you decide the time actually. You decide. Is it going to be tomorrow, today, in a week? Money is going to come to you that you did not have to push to get, right? It's going to appear to you. Maybe it's your birthday this weekend and you're going to get a $50 bill from somebody. Maybe, like I did, what I got the other day, I got this check in the mail. Who writes checks? But I got this check in the mail. But of course, at the state that I'm at, I said, of course, money just flows to me. Money just flows to me. So you might get a random check. This was for an overpayment of a fee when I bought my car in September. Who knew? Not me. Money just finds its way to me. Some money is going to find its way to you this weekend. And what I would love for you to do is just let it sit there. Because here's the thing. Money always vibrates at the same frequency. It's the frequency of exchange. It's the frequency of currency. It moves and flows. Money is always flowing across this earth through millions of accounts, through millions of hands, through millions of cash registers. Money flows. It's always on the energetic exchange or the energetic level of exchange. Always. It vibrates on the same level all the time. When you become an energetic match for certain levels of money, you become aware of it. It will start being real to you. That's a deep subject. That is something you get to sit with and wonder about. So when you have this money come to you and you go, of course, I'm vibrating on the vibration of money. And you hold it to you and you say, thank you. Money always flows to me. And you appreciate the penny just as much as if it was a $10,000 bill. You really love it and say, of course, this vibration exists all over the world. Why don't I start choosing it? Let it sit there. Just let it sit there. Receive it. Because when you're working on this vibration of emotion, more money will become aware to you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that you exchange an hour of your time for a direct hourly wage. I dropped that, I think, for a long time. Even when I worked a job as an adult, I had an entrepreneurial brain where I don't see money in hourly increments ever, 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 ever. And I think that's why teaching piano really bothered me. I was like, I'm giving so much value to this kid's life. They're going to be changed forever. And they paid me how much per hour? Like it just was not, the exchange to me wasn't ethical. And I couldn't handle it. I was like, no, I want to be on the exchange rate of value. So if your account is checking and savings in one, I would actually separate that. I'm not a financial advisor, disclosure, but like I would separate. I would have an account that you have that gets to be where you just let the money be. And you can have a checking account where you know things get to flow. This is where you send out that extra tip to the person. This is, right? That's how I function. If that doesn't work for you, that is okay. But I would suggest doing that. When you're talking about these numbers, is that with your business or personal account that you need to let the money sit? I would venture to, if you have both, if you have a business account and a personal account, to do both. If any money comes to you through your business, through your personal account, let it sit. However it comes to you, let it sit. If you find 2 quarters, put one in each with intention. It doesn't mean you actually have to go to the bank and do that. If you want to hold each and be like, oh yeah, business flows to my family, business flows to my business because I'm a money magnet. Great. Like you can do that. Don't think too far into this, but let the money just sit there and don't think, oh, now I have money to buy my daughter an ice cream today. Don't make up a reason to use it. Just let it sit there. And while it's sitting there, let this experiment run. The emotion around it will shift. You might even suggest, I might even suggest putting it on your nightstand, putting it in your bathroom, a place where you are going to see it, put it on your desk. This, whatever money comes to you, like really, it's going to come. You're going to find it. All of you, if you choose to do this. And Ooh, Latia, luckily, the business has a higher set point than our personal. I would say your business operates here to serve a lot of people. Your set point is where you personally are enjoying this money. The business doesn't get to have a set point. Does that make sense? The business is not a live entity. Whatever you guys are paying the family is your set point. Okay, the business entity runs on a different, it's its own life, right? Again, that's something we could coach on too. It'd be really great. So that's the first thing. Experiment with allowing money to come and then let it sit. Anytime you have money coming to you, and if you guys want to take this on a real life level, right? This next month, when your paychecks come, try your very, very, very hardest to no longer pre-assign your paychecks. When I hear a woman say, I have a paycheck coming next week, but it's already spent, I'm like, oh, her set point is 0. Like, what she thinks she identifies with is 0. It's very interesting. Yeah, set point is what you feel comfortable with as a minimum in your account personally. Personally. This is what I identify with. Now, if you want to combine those, Latia, be like, okay, as a combined household, me personally, I really identify with having $100,000 revolving here. But the amount that I get to play with, the amount that is mine, that is my personal, like, I would look at that. I would look at the emotions around this a lot. Because even with my business, say I'm running $30,000 through my checking account every month, and I have a certain amount of my investments, a certain amount of my savings, that might total, I don't know, some big amount, but the amount that I actually put into my family's account, that's my financial set point on a personal identity level. And it's important to me that that level grows. It's important. So this comes to our second point. In the Bible, in Matthew 25, and it was beautiful because one of my clients just pointed this out to me this morning, a different piece of the parable of the talents. Jesus is talking about many things in this parable, but one of them is money. And he gives a certain amount of talent or weight of a product. And he says, hey, I'm going away. While I'm gone, invest this, work with it, act upon it, make more of it. I'll be back. And they're like, okay. And he gives a certain amount to 3 different people in Matthew. I think in Luke, there's a similar story where he talks about 10 different slaves, but it's a little bit of a different story. But in this story, and so then when he comes back, the first guy has doubled his stuff. He's acted upon it. He used his talents, right? The second guy also doubled everything he was given. And the man says, great, you guys are awesome. Here's even more to work with. I'm taking the interest, right? And then he sees this third guy and he's like, the guy just gives him the exact thing that he had given him when they left. And he's like, what? What is this? And the guy looks at God and he's like, well, he judges God. If you want to look at the man as this company leader as God, usually that's what it means when God teaches in parables, or Jesus. Anyway, he judges the man. And he's like, you're kind of a rough guy. You don't do anything with this yourself. You don't tell me exactly what to do with it. And you go off on this trip and I'm supposed to do something with it. What if I do it wrong? Like, I'd rather just let it sit and give it back to you when you get back. And the guy's like, wow, you judged me. You could have at least put it in the bank so it would gain a little interest. I promised you this thing. Like, I gave this to you to work. It's enough. It is enough. All the things I gave was enough. And you judged because I wasn't working it myself that it wouldn't work for you. Beautiful. Ooh, Amy, you think yours is 0. Ah, this is so good. This is so good that you guys are having this awareness. Sit with it, journal on it. I could teach on this for a month, but your investment in yourself, right? Coming back to this, your investment in yourself, you developing your talents, you exchanging what God has given you. He has given everyone enough. Whatever you have come with, generational layers included, whatever you have come with is enough to make more. Whatever it is that you are here with, make more of you. Your best product is you. Your best mothering is when it comes from you. Yes, we learn, but it gets to come from in here. When I finally sat with myself and was like, Robin, do you believe you are an incredible coach? Do you believe God blessed you with the gifts of coaching and guidance? Do you believe it? I was like, yes, I believe it. I believe it with all my heart. Then he said, go do that and it will be enough. I didn't have to create 7 different offers. I didn't have to create packages. I just had to be a coach with one offer, one exchange I was willing to make with someone. How much energy am I willing to make with someone? And that's where I set my business price points. I'm willing to give this much energy to someone, and I want a client that wants to exchange that with me. It is beautiful. And ever since then, I let that $15,000 sit. I mean, I paid some bills and, different things that are business expenses, but I let it sit there and I let it sit there and I let it sit there to now that amount that can sit there is tens of thousands. And I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. My capacity to run retreats, to give to charities, to all these different things are multiplying because I believed that what God gave me was enough, that I could work with it. I didn't judge him. I said, thank you. I will do it. I had faith that what I was good at and what I really felt in my heart of hearts I could do was enough. I didn't judge it. So that was number 2. Make more of yourself and don't judge what God gave you. Work with it. What increases the flow of currency is when you make room in your life, when we make the electric cables bigger. Make more of you. Be more of you. Right? More of your I am, like we talked about last Friday. Learn, expand, experience, invest. Make more and always believe. When you believe that it will come back to you, it will. When you are afraid that you will do it wrong and you're afraid that you don't do anything. And that's where the end of the parable, he says, well, then he said cast out, but that's damnation. This man, by judging himself, he judged that what God gave him was not, he's like, I don't even know what this is. I'm not even just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to do anything with it. That is stopped progress, and in direct translation, that is damnation. Stagnation, stopped progress of oneself is damnation. Of course, that guy was cast out or whatever, but it was his own doing. God said, here's this thing. I believe it's good enough. Go work with it. And he's like, yeah, I don't think so. When we judge ourselves as less than, and we don't think we're enough, we think we're broken, there's nothing to work with. And God says, dang. He showed us that if you just take it and have faith and run with it, it will work. But we sometimes get so in here. I'm not good enough. Oh, I don't have enough followers for that. I know a lady that charges $60,000 for her mastermind, and she has like 967 people on her Instagram. stop with any social media measures of success, my friends. Like, it's so interesting how money is always there. There is a price point for everyone. There is enough money in this world. There is enough. I promise you. It's just you are not choosing to believe it. You're not choosing to make more of yourself. You're not choosing to let those amounts just sit in your account. Let your account grow. It's okay. So, number 3, you get to craft this belief, because if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter what I say. Your belief drives everything. Your belief drives everything. Jean says, I'm scared. Ooh, fear. Fear is an opportunity to act in faith. We get scared and are human. But when we partner with God, he's the all powerful. Like, don't judge that he can't make what happened, what you've been inspired to do, that it may not happen. Right? So craft your belief by crafting an end result with the Spirit. Get into communion, you guys. Sit in communion with God. Pray, believe it. Even if it's a grain of a mustard seed, God says it's enough. With the grain of a mustard seed of belief, you can start paying off this, maybe a debt that you have. With a grain of mustard seed of belief, you will come up with an idea and trust it. If you think, maybe I should connect with that one old friend. Maybe I should go ask the bank about this possibility. Maybe I should act on all of them. Taking inspired action will always lead you to the goal. Every time. Every time. When we judge it, we're judging the inspiration. It's like, what? Don't judge it. Drop the judgment. Sit with God in communion. Write down this end result. What do you really want? What would you really love? And when we teach in the Elevated Mother business, we are going to teach this. You are going to craft the most amazing end result you've ever had. So start now, though. You can do this now. Get out your piece of paper and journal. What would I really love? What is this end result? When I wake up in the morning, how do I feel? When I go to bed at night, how do I feel? When I open my checking account, what kind of numbers do I see there? When I go to work, how many hours a week am I working? What does this look like for me? Am I having any fun? Am I taking care? Craft your beautiful end result. And here's the biggest piece. Take a highlighter. Highlight anything that you can start doing right now. If that's waking up with gratitude, do it. If that's paying an extra 5% the next time you go out on your dinner date and you used to pay 15, pay 20. If that's whatever it is, the next time our paycheck comes in, I'm just going to let $150 sit there. Do that. Whatever you can do right now that is in this end result, if you're like, I would really only work 10 hours instead of 12, then start figuring out how to do that right now. If that's, I would take quarterly vacations. It would be wonderful. Make a plan. Whatever you can do, because your vision and your spirit is your money vibration. Doing these things now is going to boost your vibration. The other day I posted a reel. One thing that boosts my vibe and brings me up onto a higher vibration of possibility and abundance is when I mix my little drink and I get on coaching mastermind calls where I'm going to receive all the goodness from people. They tell me how amazing I am and I believe them. That alone, how much does that drink cost? I don't even know. It's probably like 10 cents. What's the cost of this moment? You start to see how we start to see the value of things differently. That is something that I could do right now. In my vision, it was, I love in the morning to mix up my favorite drink and to sip on it while I'm part of high-level masterminds. That was in my goal. I'm like, I can make that happen. I can make that happen. I started thinking about I would paint a picture once a month. I can make that happen. Just open my iPhone, set aside an hour on one Saturday to sketch out something and paint it. I don't judge it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to even go to anybody. Like, I stopped the judgment of my inspired results. Whatever came to me on my inspired vision, I trust it. And this is what we do in the Elevated Mother Experience. We help you craft a holistic view, not just with business. You craft a holistic view in the Elevated Mother Experience program. And we start breaking that down. What can we do now? And we start, what are my yearly goals? What's the things I'm going to do this quarter? And it just starts, we start matching a new vibration. New awarenesses come to you because you are in the vibration of that awareness. If you want the awareness of $20,000 in your checking account, you get to start becoming aware of what that looks like. Hang out in rooms where that's normal for people. Listen to what they talk about. What kind of language do they say? Adopt it. Like, right? So craft your belief by crafting your end result with the spirit. Start living in that identity now. The next time you go to buy something, you're like, okay, my $50,000 self, what does she think about this? What does she value in her day? It's not about, oh, I have so much money, I could just buy whatever. No, I learned that. My childhood thought that that was what I was looking for because I was under an oppressive financial belief. But now I'm like, it's not about buying everything. It's about me going, oh, what do I value in a day? What do I love so much? And if I value the $5.99 clearance sandals, great. If I value the $300 sandals at whatever store, great. Right? I can sit in this. And it's no longer about what's prudent and what's acceptable and blah, blah, blah. And that was my old beliefs. It's what would I love right now? What would I love? And I started living in that identity. What does my $50,000 version do about this? How do I feel about this? Do I have any anxiety about this? Do I have a value? Does this fit with that? What's been so interesting, and this is what I posted last week, I actually buy less things. I buy less. Like you can look at this room, like this is my office. Like I actually found myself really valuing open space. And it's like as I've cleared emotional baggage and religious baggage from myself, I've noticed that I'm clearing stuff out of my physical world. I have less stuff now than I've had in a long time. And my husband this morning was like, man, I'm just feeling like getting rid of stuff. He's like, well, you're on your calls. I'm going to de-junk our closet. I'm going to get rid of stuff that I haven't touched in the last year. And I was like, do you know how long I've been trying to get him to get rid of stuff? But I recognized it had to be his lane. So I've left it be. I haven't complained about it. I don't talk about it. But I've had it in my thoughts. I've journaled about it in my vision that my husband and I would easily let things go. So I've been of that energy. Guess what's come into my awareness this morning? A partner that wants to get rid of things. Okay? This is real. When you start to embrace this, you will start to have everything you ever wanted become aware to you because it already exists. You're just not aware of it yet. Your $100,000 exists. God created all matter already. It already exists. Your business is already done. Okay. Now Kim says, what if you need to invest in business? How much do you let your account grow before you invest? I like to look at my investments and create a plan for them. So say I need to purchase a $4,000 rental for a retreat. I've been thinking about that for months, right? So I actually break it down and I'm like, this much per month is going towards this thing. I'm very much a budgeter in that way. And so I know when I want to invest. Like I'm going to invest in that in January. So I've been having that account grow for that purpose. And then in January, the money's there. So I pre-envision, this is the investment I'm going to make. This is the day I want to do it, or the month. I believe the money is on its way, and it always is. But I have a plan set forth that says this is where this is going. Okay. Now, if I am like, I don't see where money is going to flow for this particular investment, interesting. If my set point is $50,000, that does not mean that all of that comes from me alone. It means that anywhere money is going to flow to me, all those roads will lead to 50,000. So I would look at, what is me, my whole life, like what kind of money situation do I have here? Like as a holistic whole. And how much do I pay myself? How much do I play with? How do I even view these things? Because that's, I mean, and that's something you get to journal on. That's something that you can see in your accounts. And again, if I'm going to invest in something, that's how I work it. I envision it out a year in advance, that's what I do. And then I'm like, this is when I want to make that investment. And then the money comes. But I do believe that it can come from my investments. It can come from passive income that I have. It can come from coaching. It can come from maybe my husband wants to invest in it too. Like, I am open for all roads, however the money comes, whether that's a grandparent passing away and I get a small inheritance, whether that's my daughter getting into a car wreck and we get a giant fat check for her totaled car, and then the car that we need isn't that expensive, so all of a sudden I have $2,000. That we had a client that was like, I would love to have about $5,000 at this time, and she got it through so many different ways, and she wanted to judge a few of those ways. And she's like, nope, that's how it came. That's how it came. I'm not going to judge anything. Right? So how much do you let your account grow before you invest? I mean, that's up to you. What your cash flow looks like, I don't know. Like, I have a budget set out where I know what my expenses are, and so I can make a wise decision on that. You may want to get a financial advisor to help you with something like that. You can decide what you want your cushion to be. I can see that my business has X amount of dollars in expenses. I like to see double that amount in my account before I have additional investments. When I first started my business though, I did a credit card. I went on credit. I didn't have a credit score. Everything I'd had was co-owned with my spouse. And I was like, wow, I have no financial autonomy without my spouse. And I wasn't okay with that. And in 2019 is when I did that. I opened my first personal credit card alone based on my little coaching income of 5,000 or whatever. And I got approved for a certain amount. And then I would pay that off, right? I built my credit myself to where now I can't even believe what creditors are offering me right now. My buying power is crazy. But that was in 2019. Like, that's only taken a couple of years to build up. So just know that your set points might take a couple of years, but wouldn't you rather your set points change over 2-3 years than not at all? I was at the same set point for 14 years. That is frustrating. So now my goal is to change my set point every year, and I know how to do it through these tips and others. And I will be teaching some of them in EMB. I teach some of them in EMX. So I'm really, really excited for you guys to learn this. I'm excited for you guys to employ these things. So you're going to craft out your dream. You're going to craft out your end result with the spirit. You're going to commit now to make more of yourself and have faith in you. And you're going to have money come to you and start letting some amounts just sit. Start building what you identify with in your account. Okay? Beautiful stuff. Jackie says, we pay our bills, then invest. I used to keep a savings account for safety, but not anymore. I don't either. We have other backup plans, side jobs we get if we ever need savings. Getting comfortable with investing has been life-changing. I have no set point. I always have an excess. I love that too. I love it. And that works for her, right? That works for her. She can always allow more flow. And I know Jackie, and we've been able to coach together. She's been able to see where she had perceived. This is beautiful. A set point is a perception, right? You cannot outperform your self-perception. So Jackie shifted her perception to limitless. How powerful. How powerful. All right, guys, have the most amazing weekend ever. So glad to chat with you. And again, if you're interested in EMB, drop EMB below, and we'll hopefully see you in that program.